everyone, this is Marika and welcome back to another session with me. In our previous session, we have discussed about bedside nursing clinic. What is it? What are the different purposes and what are the different advantages and disadvantages of a bedside clinic? And today in this session, we are going to discuss about a very interesting method of teaching that is field visit. In our previous sessions, while we were discussing the 6th unit in the very beginning, we have discussed about field trip, right? This session is about field visit and how it is used as a clinical method of teaching for the students. Now, as we have already studied what is a field trip, when I say field visit, you must have an idea about what a field visit is, right? And how it can be used effectively in nursing education. You might remember the 5th unit where we discussed about different philosophies of education, where we discussed firstly about naturalism. We have seen that in naturalism, people believe that real learning experience comes to an individual when the individual is actually exposed to a particular environment, to a real life situation. They believe that the best way of learning is exposing the students, the learners, to the natural environment with the objects that they need to study about, the material that they need to study about. Now, a field visit is one such method of teaching which gives the opportunity to the learners to be exposed to a real life situation, to be exposed to the environment naturally. The naturalistic philosophy of education strongly claimed that field visit is one of the great way or great method of teaching, and they taught the students through field visit as well. The research evidence have also proved that field visit is one of the best way of teaching to the students about a particular process or a phenomena where the students are directly exposed to the actual stimulus. Now, in a field visit, as we know, the students are exposed to a real life situation. They are exposed to the real environment or a particular process or phenomena, and there is always a supervision, a guidance provided by the teacher. So there is an expert with the students. The students get the opportunity to actually visualize, to observe, see the process or the phenomena that they have studied about. This provides the student real learning experience, first-hand learning experience under the guidance of an expert who is there to clarify all the doubts and questions of the students. A field visit or a field trip may be referred to as an educational learning experience where the students are exposed to the actual real-life environment under the guidance or supervision of a teacher, where the students undertake the first-hand information, experience and exploration of all the materials, objects, process, or a particular phenomena. Now, this entire observation process or the entire process or phenomena takes place in their natural environment. This gives the students the real idea about what they have studied theoretically to see it in their natural environment. Now, a field visit entails a visit, as the term suggests, to a particular area outside the ordinary classroom setup. And this is done in order to meet certain objectives which cannot be met by any other method of teaching. So a field visit is one such method of teaching that helps a student to gain first-hand information. They get to experience the entire process. They get to explore the object, the process, or the phenomena. Now, when any other method is not suitable for the students, for making the students understand clearly about a phenomena, a field visit is the best way to make the student understand about it. That is the reason why nursing students are sent for field visit. The clinical postings that the nursing students are sent is a type of field visit. The students are sent to the clinical area where they see the real patient, what they have studied in the book. They see whether those signs and symptoms are there in the patient or not. What they have studied in the theoretical classes, the management that has to be done, the medical management, the surgical treatment that could be done, and what are the various nursing interventions that could be done for the patient. All these are abstract content for the nursing student in theoretical classes. When they are sent for clinical posting in the clinical area, they get to actually see the patient, the real patient, in in a real hospital setting where they get to know about the patient, the disease condition, the signs and symptoms, the progress of the patient, the medical management, the nursing management, as well as the surgical management for the particular patient, right? So field visit is one of the method that can be used when any other method proves to be ineffective for the better understanding of the students. A field visit, of course, provides the opportunity for the learners to come out of their regular classroom setup and learn about the information, learn about the process, phenomena, or a procedure directly in their natural environment. Now, what are the principal features of a field visit? The field visit helps the student to learn about abstract content. To facilitate the learning of the abstract content is one of the principal feature of a field visit. As I said, whatever is studied in the theoretical classes are all abstract content. When we are taught about a certain disease condition, right? When we are taught about any procedure to be conducted, for example, if we are taught about the procedure of NG tube feeding, when we study it theoretically, it is all an abstract content. We are imagining it. We cannot see it, right? But when the students are taken for a field visit, the students get to actually see what they have studied and what they have imagined in the practical situation. Next one is to enhance the students' interest and curiosity. Of course, it will help to enhance the curiosity of the students. It will also help to develop the interest in the student because they are able to actually observe the things. They are able to actually see the procedures that are carried out in the patient, how it is done, what are the practical difficulties that might occur when performing a particular procedure, right? So this will help to develop the interest in the students. The next one is to increase the social interaction among the students and also to bring social awareness among the students. Okay, so these are the three principal features of a field trip. Let us now see what are the purposes of a particular field visit. The first one is to make learning fun and memorable one. A field visit is always a learning experience which is fun and it is also memorable when we are able to visualize the actual procedure, when we are able to see when we are able to see how it is carried out, what are the practical difficulties that occurs, what to be done if any kind of practical difficulties arises. All these things will help the students to develop interest. It is also a fun way of learning a particular topic. The second one is to provide the opportunities to learn from actual first-hand experience and not just by reading it out or by hearing something. So in theoretical classes, as I said, everything is in abstract content. We read about it or the teacher teaches us about it. So we either hear about it or we read about it, but we do not see how it is done. It is not something practical. So field visit will allow the student to bridge that gap between the theoretical and the practical aspect by providing them the learning experience, the first-hand learning experience, and not just learning by listening or reading about the particular concept. Next one is to supplement the regular classroom lecture or instruction. Even if the content is taught theoretically, if the students are taken for practicals, if the students are it will supplement the regular classroom instructions or the regular lectures for the students. The next one is to give the students the opportunity to learn in the natural environment, to provide an environment that will facilitate proper and effective learning. Another purpose is that field visit is also useful in developing the concrete skills like note-taking and public speaking. So this will also help the students to develop their note-taking ability or public speaking ability. The next purpose is to help the student realize the importance of what they have learned in their theoretical classes. When we learn something, we do not actually understand how important it is or how relevant it is. So in order to make sure that the student understand the relevance, the importance of the topic that was taught to them in the classroom, field visit can be used as an effective method of teaching. And the last purpose is that it helps to provide the students learning experience using all their senses. A field visit involves all the 5 senses of the student. That is, all the 5 senses like vision, touch, taste, smell, and to feel. Field visit helps the student to learn something from the experience, and this experience involves using of all their senses, which makes learning obviously more impactful and more memorable. So these are the various purposes of a field visit. Let us now see what are the advantages of a field visit. It is one of the best way to provide first-hand learning information and knowledge to the student, and also to supplement the classroom instructions. It integrates the classroom learning or classroom instruction with the real life situation. Of course, a practical or field visit will obviously help the student to bridge the gap between theory and practical, right? So here what happens, the students are able to correlate what they have studied, what they have learned in the classroom to a practical situation. This will help the student to develop empathetic understanding towards the problem or towards a certain condition. This will also help the students to realize contribution of other people in the particular aspect. This will also help the students to realize the contribution of all the other members involved in the patient care. The next advantage is that the students will gain a better understanding about etiology and the history of the problem. It will also help the students to understand the history of the disease as well as the etiological factor of the disease, which could be housing, sanitation, or socio-economic condition of the patient.